Welcome back to 360 Sports Network's Road to the Final Four special. In this podcast series, we break down every conference tournament to see who will get the automatic berth into the big dance and to see whose bubbles may have burst here in championship week. You can follow us on Twitter at 3S Network, and you can also follow our website at 360sportsnetwork.com to get everything and anything you need for bracketology and getting that brackets to be as good and as awesome as you want them to be. I'm James Dawson. Today we want to look at the Big Ten Conference, and in my mind the Big Ten has been up and down the best conference in the entire country this year. Now, there are 6 teams in the Big Ten who have locked up their bids. Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Purdue have all locked up. Northwestern needs to get a win against Minnesota to have any chance to be making into the tournament. I think they will do it. Honestly, I think even if they lose in a close game to Minnesota, that they can still make it as an at-large because of their good strength of schedule and because of the way that they've played, especially with the eye test more than anything. They are a fun team to watch. They are a good team to watch. And when they do lose games, they are close games against great opponents. So when you look at it, I think Northwestern can stay into the tournament, even with a first-round loss. But I could see them winning their first-round game easily, possibly even beating Michigan. But for a minute, I do need to talk about Michigan, because Michigan, as of late, is playing just absolutely lights out. Burke and Hardaway averaging 14.5 points per game are just a great 1-2 punch in that backcourt for the Wolverines. The only problem that I see with Michigan, and it's really tough to pinpoint something when you have consistent scorers, everybody scores, they are a little small. And when they only have 31 averaging rebounds per game, that's about as low as you can come. And I think that's going to make it very difficult for them to go far in a tournament. If they play one team with a bigger lineup, they are going to be in deep trouble. Now, that being said, they will definitely be less prone now to a early upset from a mid-major team, because they should be in very good shape in terms of matching up well with a mid-majors team who is normally smaller, quicker, faster, and good from outside. So Michigan matches up well to prevent a disastrous and possibly quote-unquote humiliating early exit to the tournament. But in the other regards, in terms of making it all the way to the finals, well, it could be tough. Another team I want to look at really quickly is Indiana, and what really impresses me is their 7-foot forward, Cody Zeller, and he can just play anywhere around the court, except maybe beyond the three-point line, but I think if they needed him out there, he'd do well there too. I am especially really impressed with him when he has to go and he sits in the middle of the zone. He sits right there at the foul line, a 7-footer. He's either going to pass it over a defense, especially in the zone defenses that you'll see a lot of here in the next couple weeks. And if they all back off from him, little foul line jumper, which he makes probably 90% of the time. Cody Zeller has been a real gift for the Hoosiers this year. And again, he's one of those guys that you hope just stays around for a couple years. It'll be good for the conference, for the team, and for the entire country as a whole. Another team, you can't forget about the Ohio State Buckeyes, who ended up finishing tied for the lead in the conference with their last second shot from William Buford against Michigan State in the season finale. Now, they have, of course, Buford, who's doing well, Aaron Kraft, the defensive juggernaut, and Jared Sullinger leading the team with 17 points and 9 rebounds per game. Thing is, Sullinger plays so rough and tumble down low that he gets in trouble when it comes to tournament games when he plays against teams in conference or with conference referees who are a lot more picky in fouls being called. He gets away with a lot on defense when it comes to the Big Ten because they let it happen. That's not going to happen when it comes to the tournament. He's going to be hacking players left and right, and I think because of that, he's going to get in foul trouble, and he's going to get very upset and mad at himself, and that's not going to help him. So because of that, I think that Sullinger and the Buckeyes are going to be trouble time when it comes to getting in, or when it comes to going far in the NCAA tournament. And you can't forget about the number 1 seed, the Michigan State Spartans. Before the season finale, Michigan State was my pick, not only to win the Big Ten tournament, not only to make the Final Four, but to win it all. And that was because I loved where they were as a team from top to bottom, and I love what Tom Izzo does with that team. Draymond Green does it all, averaging a double-double, 16 points, 10.3 rebounds per game. Keith Appling runs the show, and when he hits from downtown, he is unstoppable. I love Brandon Wood, the transfer from Valpo. He's been a great commodity. I love Nix and Payne when they come in off the bench. They split time pretty evenly, and both are not only amazing forces on the offensive end, but amazing defensive players who can take down a guy like Jared Sullinger. What really is bothering me now about picking the Spartans is the loss of one of the players who, to me, has been an unsung hero all year for them, and that's Branden Dawson. In that season finale, he tore his ACL, and I feel really badly for the freshman who now has to miss the NCAA tournament and the Big Ten tournament. With Branden Dawson, Michigan State is undoubtedly, in my mind, a Final Four team. Without him, I worry about a possible second or third round upset. And nothing against the rest of the Spartans for Tom Izzo, but Branden Dawson just was the one scorer who you could always count on in terms of making a play off a dribble when he's not expected to. When he's not in there, and Appling's been struggling lately, that means it's down to Draymond Green. And Draymond Green is a good player, but he can't go one-on-one. He can't do it all himself. And his turnovers really show that. Branden Dawson was a great player to have, and that's going to really hurt them. I still think that their talent and their determination will make them tough outs in the Big Ten tournament. I think their rebounding advantage would make them able to beat Michigan in a championship game matchup between the two teams from the state of Michigan. However, in terms of winning the tournament now, I hate to say it because of one player, but Branden Dawson's loss is not very good for Tom Izzo. But that being said, I still have him winning the automatic berth, and I see 7 teams all the way through Northwestern making the tournament. We'll see if it happens, but in the meantime, enjoy what's going on in Indianapolis. Well, that's it for the Big Ten update. You can follow us on Twitter at 3S Network for every conference tournament, and of course, with the Selection Sunday special coming up very shortly, we want to help you make your bracket as good as it can be. Follow us on Twitter at 3S Network and 360sportsnetwork.com as your one-stop shop for everything when it comes to bracketology. I'm James Dawson for 3SN. Enjoy the night.